Okay, your first thing you're going to want to do in the vehicle assembly building is choose what you're going to put on. I'm going to use the Mark 1 lander can if I can find it. There it is, because it's lighter. If you right click on an item, it brings up extra information. Right clicking again gets rid of it. Once the extra information is up, it will stay up over all of the items. Once it's down, it will stay down over all of the items. So this only requires one crew. It is a mass of 0.6 tons. This one is 2 crew and it's a mass of 2.6 tons, so that's why I use this one. Okay. You're going to need to have electric power and RCS so that you don't lose control of your vehicle. I'm going to actually put this underneath. I'm going to go to propulsion and get a jug of RCS. Okay. On top of here, I'm going to do something just for decoration. It has absolutely no point whatsoever. On top of that, going to add, do I put that first? No, I'm going to go to utility, add some lights, select 4x symmetry. By the way, holding shift will allow you to get closer and further away. Okay, so I'm going to put this as close as I can to the top. Alright, now if you hold shift while you're pressing the WSAD QE keys, you will rotate the item in 5-degree increments rather than 90-degree increments. Okay, so I'm going to try to get this set how I want it. There we go. Now I'm going to take on propulsion, grab my toroidal fuel tank, put it there. Notice how that tucks in so nice. Doesn't that look pretty? Back a page and get this little bitty fuel tank. These tanks are just for decoration. They do nothing actually. And to make it look better and still have a bit of functionality, put a parachute on the top of that. Okay. I will now go back to utility and grab this, still in 4x symmetry, and put these on the sides. Make sure that all the parachutes deploy at the same time. Okay. And click the main component, what do they call it? The pod. Click the pod and you can raise and lower. Alright, so we got RCS, we got electric. We're also going to need to put on, am I still in utility here? We're going to need to put on some solar panels. I'm going to go back to 2x symmetry for this because I don't want to block the door. Okay. We're going to need to go to control and grab some RCS thruster blocks. Those I'm going to put right here, 4x symmetry. Alright. Oh, a little bit low. I get a little bit compulsive about having things centered and equal and even, but that's, I think, the key to making a successful ship. I know we're missing something. What is it? Got it. I'm going to put that on top here. Pick that item up and move it aside and grab, because the only difference between these inline reaction wheels, this one's a large size for your bigger rockets. This one and this one are identical. The only difference is that this one weighs a little bit more than this one does, and this one has a better design. This one looks stupid, this one looks cool. This one is a mass of 0.3, this one is a mass of 0.5. Not a huge difference, but I normally use the other one. This time, however, for the sake of coolness, because it just looks better, I'm using that. And since I've put that there, I'm actually going to move these thrusters clear up to the top. These work best if you're going to have 2 sets of them, which I will. They work best if they're as far away as possible from the center, because there's more torque on the outside edges. Okay, so we've got torque control, RCS, power, a way to generate more power, and some decorations and some lights. Okay, now the first thing I want to show you about is control groups. I know these seem like voodoo magic, but it's pretty simple really. You've got these, which I never mess with, and custom one I always use for my solar panels. Notice there's nothing here right now because I haven't clicked on any items. If I select this, I've got 3 options: toggle, extend, or retract. So you can have a different control group to extend them and retract them, or you can have one to toggle them. I always toggle. Now, because I put these on in 2 times symmetry, it picks both of them at the same time because they are, quote, the same item, unquote. You can see that it'll pick up both of them. Okay, back to the parts list. Next thing I want to do is I'm going to add fuel tank here. Hang on. I forgot something, didn't I? I need to take this off. And under structural, which I don't know why, put a stack separator. Now the interesting thing about these stack separators, they've got a little arrow that shows which way they're going to disconnect. They're going to disconnect from the point where they're aimed at. This little red arrow says it's going to disconnect along this line. So when you stage this, it'll disconnect like that, and everything from here down will fall off. Sometimes you need that different, so you press the A key a couple of times and it rotates it over. WSADQE will rotate your parts. So in this case, when I stage, it'll separate here and leave that on the bottom. Not what I want, but just letting you know that's how that works. Okay, now onto the fuel tanks. I'm going to use... That's too big. This is just a lander. I'm going to use that fuel tank. Okay. And I am going to put on some separators. Let's see, I think I want to go with wide ones. I want my my lander to have a wide stance. And I'm just going to pick an arbitrary spot vertically to put these, which is going to be right in the center there. Okay. And now I put fuel tanks around that. Again, 4 times symmetry. They're not quite perfect close though. Now, the reason for these different motors, if you look at on the right hand side under engine, it tells you the thrust of it, but it also tells you ISP, which is basically a measure of its efficiency. These atomic rocket motors are the most efficient with the 800 in vacuum. That's insane. It sips fuel, but they've only got 60 thrust, which is just barely over these guys. Compare that to the 390 ISP for this one, and you can see why this motor is actually a good choice for an interplanetary drive. These are pretty good for a lander though, because they're short. I've had a lot of frustration trying to use these on a lander. They have a little bit more power, they're a lot more efficient, but they're very tall. And you can get around that, but I generally don't. I just use these guys. Good enough for me. I'm going to put one in the middle. And since I'm still 4 times symmetry, I'll put one on the outside. And now I can check and see how even they are by lining up the bottoms. And you can see that my fuel tanks are a pixel too high, and that's not good. So I line things up, grab this again, right there. See that? How they all line up nice and even? That's good. Okay, so that's my top stage. I do want to use fuel lines here so that, give me a fuel line please, still 4 times symmetry, so that the inner fuel tank takes fuel from the outer fuel tanks. So the inner fuel tank will not start using fuel until the outer fuel tanks are completely depleted. Alright? Need one more thing on a lander, and that would be landing struts. 4 times symmetry. Line these up right with the top of there. What do you mean click? There we go. And that's a lander. Whoops. That'll actually land and take off from Mun. A little bit top heavy. That's okay though. I did the best I could by putting most of the heavy stuff down here. I could have put this under there as well. Probably still can. But it wouldn't make much difference in the big scheme of things. Okay, at this point I'm going to take a look at my staging. I want all 5 of these engines turned on at the same time. These 4 split off, then that one splits off so I can re-enter, and then the parachute. So this is all done. Next we're going to want to put on a stage below that. So in structural, get another stack decoupler, put it on there, go to 4 times symmetry and put it on there, and I want all of these to go off at the same time. Okay, no I don't. Do I? I can't remember. I can't remember. Anyway, it'll work for now. Propulsion. Grab a fuel tank. And this is going to be a tall rocket, so I click on the pod, scroll wheel up. Another fuel tank. Okay. Still 4 times symmetry, so fuel tanks. And I can alt click on an item and duplicate it. Alright. Now this is going to be relatively unstable because it's only held together weakly right here, and it's not held together at all down here. So you need to go to structural, again still the 4 times symmetry, and right there, connects to right there. That'll give that kind of stability. Grab another one, go right there, and right there. Okay. The top will be held pretty good that way, but I do want to add a little bit of stability, a little bit of... If you put too much stress on these decouplers, they will fail. So, shift and scroll to zoom in a little bit. If you get inside of another rocket, you can actually see down through it and place an item. Right there, the top of that fuel tank. Maybe I can reach it right here. Yes, the bottom of this fuel tank. So now the thrust is being carried, or the load's being carried a little bit by these struts. They're not infallible, but they will help. Okay, another thing I want to do, I need to add another fuel line, because if I turn these motors on with an action group, did I make one? I did not. Okay, I got the panels one. Panels one still works. Custom 10 I always use for these motors, so I select one of them, and you notice it selects all 4 because I put them on with 4 times symmetry, and I toggle engine. Okay, back to this. But if I turn these engines on before I actually get to that stage, they'll start burning their fuel, and I don't want that. I want them to burn fuel from somewhere else. So under propulsion, grab another fuel duct, 4 times symmetry still, and right under here. There we go. So now the fuel will flow from here into these tanks, and from these tanks into the center tank. So this stuff will never run out of fuel until this is out of fuel. Alright. Down here, I'm going to put on some propulsion, some motors, and I am going to use, if you right click, did I tell you this already? If you right click, it brings up information. I'm going to use the non-gimbaling, well, I'm going to put something else first. I'm going to go to my control, grab some reaction wheels, and put them on here because they help when the, actually I'm just going to put one. They help when you don't have any thrust going. There's no gimbaling action. And this one engine in the center, I will have a gimbaling engine. The 4 outside ones will be a little bit more thrust, but no gimbaling. They've got the same ISP. 4 times symmetry. There we go. You can see this hangs down a little bit. That's okay. Alright. Am I structurally sound? I think so. Okay, so I do want to stage these 2 at a time, and all 4 of these were put together in one. Oh, look what it did. You go down here. Now what is that? The 4 outside and the 1 inside. First of all, I need to split that. I need to get the 1 inside out of there. Okay, and then these 4, I'm going to make another one. And I think I want to get rid of these 2 first, because I'm going to be looking at the craft this way while it's flying. So I'll get rid of these 2 and leave only these 2, which means I need to figure out which one of them is that. You expand it and you highlight it, and you'll notice over there on the right hand side it puts a white box around the second one from the top of those 4. That's the one that I want to grab. So I grab that one by clicking. Oops, sorry. Make sure again, there it is. Click on it once, and now you click on it again and drag it. Okay, now I want the one on the opposite side. Expand these 3 out. Where'd they go? Okay, those 3 are expanded. There's the one for that side. There it is, right there. Click on it and drag it down. So now I've got these 2 in one group and those 2 in another group, which means that I want these guys to run out of fuel first. So back to the fuel lines again. And attach there, and attach there. Oh bugger. Because I put these on in 4 times symmetry, it automatically puts these on in 4 times symmetry, even if I just go down to 2, right? As soon as I touch it, it goes to 4 times. You can get around that by going to 1 times symmetry. You'll just have to do both of them manually. Okay, so that one. Now I need to go to the other side and do the same thing. There we go. And now these have to feed into the center tank. So there, and right there. One more. And there we go. So now what we've got, these two tanks and these two tanks are feeding into these two and the other two. So they'll run out of fuel first, and I'll stage them off, get rid of that dead weight. Then these will run out of fuel, and I'll stage them off and get rid of the dead weight. And finally, this one will run out of fuel, and I'll stage it off here and get rid of that dead weight. And that'll be my final lander configuration then. Alright. Now I need to add another stage. So, again, back to structural. Go back to 4 times symmetry. There we go. Alright, so now I'm going to add some more of these. Just on the middle though. Just on the middle. And another of the gimbaling engines, because I'm going to need the control. Alright. Now for these 4, this is where I'm going to put my solid rocket boosters. Alright, now that I've got this much of it on, I need to do my structural again. Okay? So it's just like I did up above. I'm going to repeat this same pattern on the top or on the bottom of these to make sure that everything stays nicely together. I'll be right with you. Okay, I got the structural members on. Now it's time to add more boosters. This is Kerbal Space Program after all. So I am going to grab some radial decouplers, still on 4 times symmetry, and these I'm going to put about there-ish. I've learned that's about where they've got to be put, but I'm going to put them up higher because I'm just using them for a marker. Alt-click on the item, come down here, and go 2 notches sideways. Excuse me. Go 2 clicks sideways. Grab another one, alt-click. From the center again, go 2 clicks sideways. Now I can get rid of these. Okay. Now all of these I want to let go at the exact same time as all 4 of these let go. And that's where these guys are. So I'm going to put them together. Okay. And that's those 4 boosters. They're going to actually ignite before all this lets go. This motor also needs to be enabled when these boosters are lit. That's this one right here with the white. It highlights it with white. So grab that and put it down there. Go over my staging real quick here. These all turn on. Get rid of all of these. Then turn on. Aha, I see there's a problem. If I turn that motor on before I stage this off, I will detonate that. So turn on these 4, make another one to put this out of the way, get rid of all these, turn on those 4 motors. I need to find this one, there it is. So I need to separate that into its own. After I turn on those 4 motors, then finally this one runs out of fuel. I stage it off and enable that one. I'm going to actually do that at the same time. Get rid of that. Do this at the same time, the motor and the decoupler. And then we come up here to our incremental staging, or whatever you call it. These 2, then those 2, then that one. And then these 4 come on. So yeah, looking good. Okay, so now I'm going to put on more boosters, because this is Kerbal Space Program, and you always need more boosters. Ah, you dick. Back it on centered. It did. Okay, so come over here. Alt click to grab another one. There we go. And let's see. Look at my reference pick. Okay, after I went back and looked at my reference, I noticed that there were some things that I did wrong. So, I believe that was 4 times symmetry. Go ahead and take that back to 4 times symmetry. Now I'm going to grab this and just set it aside for a moment. Yeah, I grabbed the wrong engine here. I need the vectoring engines. And I also need to put one of these on all 4 of them. There's the gimbaling engine. And now I can put this back. Did that work? No. So I pick it up again. And try it on this angle. Nope. I'm going to use the E to rotate it once. And there we go. Okay. And this one is supposed to be the non-vectoring engine. Non-gimbaling. Okay. Another thing I did wrong. These don't go on yet. So, take them right back off and just throw them away. I am going to... I'm also going to have to set this aside for just a moment. And grab some of these. And if I remember right, these go right there. And I'm going to try to line up the bottom of these nice and even. Nope, I can't do it. I need to change where that is. There we go. So yeah, right on that line there is about the best place to put these. It makes it so you can line up your solid rocket boosters nice and evenly with everything else. That's a skosh low. Can't have that. I'm also going to set this aside so I can see the end of that motor. There we go. Good, good. Okay, so now this goes back in the middle. There it is. And this goes back on here. Give me that red bullshit. There we go. Did that mess up everything? Not too bad, actually. Not too bad. Okay, I'm going to add some more structural. Center here. To center there. Okay. Alright, that's looking pretty good. That's looking pretty good. Oh, I bet you I did that wrong, didn't I? Oops, wrong one. Nope, I did it right. Awesome. Okay. Now for these up here, I need to structurally strengthen them as well. Come on. Oh, I'll just put it here. Alright. Now here's a trick. I'll take these back off. You can grab some more of these and you can mount them right to an existing rocket. There's no way to separate it, but that's fine because I want it to drop off at the same moment that the one I'm connecting it to drops off. See that? There's no Sepratron at all on there, or no, what do they call those stupid things? No decouplers on there at all. They're just attached. They're just attached by Voodoo. Let's see if I can do this. My other design is different because I've got science on it, because it's my career mode. I don't think I'm going to be able to connect this here. I think it's going to hate that. Yeah, see, that's not good. Alright, let's take that back off. Let's see if this will be enough. Alright, now I'll try to connect to that. Yes! There we go. There we go. You know what? Another thing I could do, I could add more fuel too. So let's take this back off. Take these back off. Go to propulsion. And get... Is that the one I want? That's the one I want. So I've just gave myself a little bit more fuel on my lander. And that increased the height enough, because that takes up the same amount of space as the Science Junior. That increased the height enough that I can connect them like so. Okay. More structural here. Structural, you've got to put on these struts. If you don't, your rocket will fall apart and you will have a bad day. Okay. And I also don't want these to wiggle around at all. So grab some of this. And that looks like that stage. Okay. So now I can put these on. And have I got this structurally sound? Yes, I do. And now I can get some more propulsion. Put those on. And some more structural. Like I say, this whole vehicle assembly process is an exercise in patience. You will learn patience. If you don't learn patience, you're not trying. I think that's the angle I want. Alt-click to grab another one. Are those on the same angle? They are. Alt-click to grab another one of these. And alt-click to grab another one of these. Okay. So how many do we have here? Why is that? Oh, it's a 3 and a 1. Yeah, I see it does that. Those are the top ones. 2, 3, 4 times 4 is 16. Okay, so that's what I want down here. Need to grab this engine, which is right there. That starts at the same time. Okay. Now I need to work on some more structural. Because these things are pretty much just hanging out here, and they will fail. So I'm going to add some more struts. From there to there. From there to there. From there to there. From there to there. Holding shift, tapping D because I just like to have it facing the proper direction. Go up as far as I can. At some point it'll just vanish. Okay, it looks like I can go all the way. Rinse and repeat, grab another one. Okay. That part done. Now we gotta structurally stabilize the bottom of this. Looking pretty good so far. Give yourself a little more room. Okay. These I gotta connect. This can be the hardest part, is to get an angle to see what you're trying to do. Aha, here we go. Closer. There it is. Okay. And that did all 4 of them. Now let's bring these to the same place. Yep, this bit's probably going to be long again. I can just feel it. I've been doing this forever. Okay, now to check on my staging. I'm going to actually add these to, let's see, which ones are... Okay, I think this is the ones that I hook them to right here. So I'm going to grab some of these guys, connect them like so, and make sure we got everything just like we wanted. Those 4 let go. Turns on that 1 liquid motor at the bottom. And 1, 2, 3, 4 times 6. Yeah, 4 times 4 is 16. Once those all burn out, I get rid of the 4 and 4 that are holding on these 4 and these 4. Then I get rid of the 4 that are holding on these 4, so that separates the stack here. I also need to get rid of these That's a 3 and a 1, isn't it? Yep. Okay, so what I've got now, these let go, everything down here turns on. Next, all the solid rocket boosters down here get dropped using stack separators and separatrons. Okay. Then these 8 boosters turn on. And I think I should also have these 4 motors turn on. Where are they? There they are. Yep, those 4 motors turn on. Next thing, that needs to be separated again. I think that's the proper timing. Once I get rid of these 4 boosters, or once I initiate these 4 boosters and turn those 4 engines on, I think, if I'm not mistaken, this bottom stage will run out of fuel first. So I've got it being cut off and the engine right here turned on. So now I've got all 5 of these engines running and these boosters running. Then I get rid of these boosters, and then we start getting rid of 2 at a time. Then, okay, this looks pretty good. I think that it's ready to go. I'll give it a shot here. Scroll back down. Make sure that engine is up out of the dirt, because they hate to be in the dirt. Alright, I'll save it, and I'll launch. See you on the pad. Okay, let's see how it bounces. Not too bad. Not too bad. We'll have to give it an old college try and see if it'll work. T for RCS, F5 for quick save. And if I did this right, I do not actually need to operate that bottom liquid-fueled motor until I'm almost done with all of these boosters, because they have enough power to keep me at terminal velocity until they run out. So, 3, 2, 1, go. And now we wait and just see how well have I wrought. According to my controls over here, down here, it looks like I'm doing pretty good because they're all staying pretty close to center. Nothing's going absolutely crazy trying to control things, so that means that I've got it pretty well balanced. This yellow color up in here in the mission elapsed time, that is because my computer is actually straining to do enough calculations per second. 1 second of game time is less than 1 second of real time right now. It can turn red as well. That means you're really having a hard time with it. That setting is found, it's called max physics delta time per frame, if I'm not mistaken. On my computer, I have to slide that all the way to the right. 0.3, I believe it is, 0.03, I can't remember. If you've got a beast mode computer, you can keep that more toward the center or toward the left. But I have to. My rockets detonate for no reason if I don't. Okay, so I now see that we've got a little bit of yaw action going on. I'm going to turn on RCS to see if that corrects itself. And it's not really, so I'm going to bump it myself manually. Press F to lock it there. Turn on this motor because we're getting ready to run out of solid fuel. We're well over the curve. Stage. Behave yourself. Behave yourself. Okay, now stage again. And that turns on all the liquid fuels and the solid fuels. 5,000, I'm only supposed to be going 160, not bad. At 8,000, I'm only supposed to be going 215. And I'm doing a little bit too much, so I'm going to throttle back. Just still increasing, that's fine. $10,000, I'm supposed to be 260. So I can throttle up a little bit. And I'm going to start my gravity turn. Looks like I'm doing good on my timing. The solid fuels will burn out first. Having to tap on the D key quite a bit. You'll notice that my yaw keeps going crazy. I want that to be pretty stable right now, so I can stage. Oh, I did something wrong. I dropped that rocket too soon. Dadgummit. I better throttle up. Resources on. Let's see how we're looking on the map. 34 seconds away from my high point in the orbit. I'm going to set target as the moon. Now I can see how my node is. 0.2, not bad. Get back over here because you cannot stage while you're looking at that screen. And if I did this right, these two should drop first. Yes, they do. Yay. And they should be the ones running out of fuel. Yes, they are. Yay. Almost. I can turn off my RCS now. It's not struggling so bad. And there we go. Now I still cannot turn on these motors because I've got all four of them set to turn on at the same time. So if I did that, I would detonate these two and completely waste all that fuel. Probably have a really bad day. We're almost a minute away from apoapsis. That's good. You like to see that. It's climbing. That's good. You like to see that. I'm going to turn over just a little bit more. This is actually going quite well. I'm pleased. And eco. Engine cutoff. So now I'm going to coast up. I'm not quite out of atmosphere yet. I'm going to coast up and be pointed at the horizon. F to stabilize. You can see I've got quite a bit of fuel left. I've still got these two full tanks, and these have about 180 to 183 in them each. So basically 3 full tanks of fuel. I'll probably wind up, if I did this right, with this tank left once I've achieved orbit. And this is 40 seconds away. Okay, thrust again. Right at horizon. I had to turn down in-game sounds to accommodate recording, so I can't hear when these engines go out anymore. For some reason the levels get all crazy when I try to use fraps. Oh, did I just lose them? Yes, I did. Don't you contact. Don't do it. Now I can turn these off by pressing 0 because I set up that control group. I'm also out of atmosphere, so I can press 1 and extend the solar panels. almost in orbit. But here's something for you. I get bad frame rate when I'm facing this way. When I'm facing this way, I get much better frame rate. For some reason, having that planet in view messes things up. And I think I just made orbit. Yes, I did. Cut. 75, 84, it's in orbit. Alright, now add a maneuver you get back here. Right click, normal click. Normal click, add maneuver, and I need to adjust my nodes. Okay, so I need to head south, and that is this way. Get back where you belong, RCS, thank you. And F to lock that in. And this is getting pretty close. Once I get right on it, I'm going to thrust to try to bring the ascending and descending node. The ascending node you burn south to reduce it to 0. The descending node you burn north. So you do the opposite of what it is. Because that means that from here my orbit is ascending according to my target, so I need to make it go down. So I aim myself to 180, which is south. Probably start burning at 10 seconds here. There we go. They're down to 0. Okay. So now we're in orbit.